wants to go first?
Kirsty?
Okay. My name's Kirsty. I first went sailing in 1996, and I did a trip on the Malcolm Miller from Greenock in Scotland to Birkenhead. After I did the trip there, I was recommended to go and work in the galley as a cook's assistant. And in the period between 1996 and 2001, I did multiple trips on both the Miller and the Churchill all over Europe in the holidays. I was at university at the time, so long university vacations meant lots of times to go sailing. And in that period of time, I decided that I wanted a career at sea. And from a small little galley rat, I'm now the captain of a chemical tanker. So I guess that I'm a product of the tall ship system. I don't think your story is quite as glamorous as that one, but when did we first sail together? Was that, or did we do maintenance together on a tall ship?
I think we sailed together we did maintenance in 97. I first sailed in 96, did an Azores back to the UK trip. Horribly sick, but thought it's such a good soul investigating trip. I discovered how strong I was to deal with people that you didn't get on with and you're all closed in, but you have to deal with those things, so you do. So I went back the next year and did Lisbon down to the Canaries. Thoroughly enjoyed it and got hooked by the bug, so went back and did maintenance and chipping paint, but then got into doing woodwork on there and doing the varnishing stuff, and then was asked back as purser, cook's assistant, watch leader, second cook.
Whatever there was available, yes.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's the most beneficial thing you can do because you're in an environment that's very supportive, but it makes you test yourself and you meet some absolutely fantastic people. Thank you.
I think I did a tall ships race, I think it was 1997, in the Baltic. I believe it was from Stavanger to Gothenburg. We came out of Gothenburg, and Gothenburg is a large natural harbour with many small islands within the archipelago area, and coming out with full sail on the ship with everybody else in the parade of sail, that was quite impressive to see so many different ships from all over Europe and all over the world coming out. I think that coupled with the atmosphere, the party atmosphere that the tall ships race and the competitiveness that the race had, that was probably one of the best ones I had. And I still have happy memories now. It's still, every time I go back to Gothenburg, I still have happy memories of going back into that port. And many of the actual pilots that are doing the ship services for my vessel are like, oh yes, I remember that. So I think tall ships race was pretty good, especially the parade of sail on that race in Gothenburg for me.
Best memory?
I think coming back up the River Thames to go under Tower Bridge and dear Ron Dagswell firing the cannon off that set off all the car alarms and all the pigeons. And that was just so funny. It's not really sailing, but it was...
It's a moment in time that it's truly...
It stayed in my memory.
As quick as you can.
Made a huge change in my life and made me realise how strong I was. And I went back and did a lot of youth trips in supportive roles as purser, second cook, cook's assistant, whatever. But to support youth that came on there that may have not come from such a good background, but seeing them go off with a straight back at the end of it and being proud with what they'd done and that they'd achieved something, and they felt some personal, they loved themselves afterwards. Not they were downtrodden anymore. More they realised that they had got something to offer.
No, I agree. I mean, at the beginning of a youth trip especially, you'd have a really eclectic mix of people. Whether it's, I remember did one trip I had guys from Eton College mixed in with the guys from probably one of the nastiest housing estates in Glasgow, and you're put together and told to get on and run a ship. And these groups of people would have never ever met or interacted with each other. And by the end of 10 days, well, it doesn't really matter who you are on a ship. It's a great leveler. You've got the ability, if people are strong, people are nimble, people are afraid of heights, people are not afraid of heights, but you need everybody in a team to make the job work,
to make the team
and make the job work. And if you took a snapshot of the guys on day 1 and a snapshot of the guys on day 10, the difference is totally immense. And that just didn't happen once. It happened every single time, over and over and over and over again. And
I think it has changed a lot of people's lives more than they would have thought when they first were coming on the ship. And I hope some of those people have kept in touch with each other because they did bond.
Yes, and if shall we say that there's friendship being sick over the side of the ship,
Oh, more diced carrots.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's on the ship you have no escape. You're on a small enclosed space, and you've just basically got to get on and do the job, and you don't really have an option to get out and go home. And if you're from in normal life, you don't have those constraints put on you. Someone doesn't wake you up at 3:30 in the morning to tell you to go and stand out in the cold. But the cumulative effect of working on the ships and working in the teams that everybody has, I think, it has an effect on everybody's life, whether it's positive or negative. There are some people that say, I never ever want to see a ship again in my life. I never ever want to do this in my life. And God, I thought the army was going to be hard, but this is it. But the people that enjoyed it, I think, as you say, most people will take something from it, whether it's positive, negative, or there's not a neutral answer to that question. It has to be positive or negative.